Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is Monday, so it is a Motivation Monday video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. So today's video is stop self-sabotaging. Okay, so what that means is basically, when you self-sabotage, right, that is when you actually say you want something and then go about making sure that it doesn't happen. Okay, so let's say you set a goal and you're like, yeah, I don't know, what can we say? Let's say you want to lose weight, right? And then, you set that goal, you say you want it, but then you make sure it doesn't happen. And what I mean by that is, you say you want to lose weight, but you're not exercising, you're not eating right, you're not drinking water. You see what I mean? Things like that. So the whole purpose of this video is just to sort of talk you out of and snap you out of that whole sort of behavior of setting goals and saying you want to do something and then not doing anything to make sure it happens. That is the kind of self-sabotaging behavior we're going to talk about today. Okay, so usually self-sabotaging happens when you feel deep down that you're actually not worthy of whatever it is you want to achieve. So until you get your mind in the right headspace and you get your mind in the right place and just cultivate a mentality of knowing that I'm worthy of this, I deserve this, that will definitely help you to get there. Okay, and it usually manifests itself in things like procrastination, negative self-talk, or talking yourself out of something. Whatever reason you may give yourself for not doing it, those are usually times when you then start self-sabotaging. Another thing is when you start making excuses. So something is wrong, or certain behavior is wrong, or whatever, but then you start making excuses for this behavior, sort of like enabling yourself when it comes to this destructive behavior. So that's what we need to sort of work on not doing. Okay, so I do have 5 points here that I think are very important to help with self-sabotaging. So the first one is, I don't know, now that you've watched this video, maybe it's something you hadn't thought about before, but now that the conversation has started, I'd like you to make an effort to realize your self-sabotaging ways. So maybe look at things like goals that you've set, or just things you've said you want for yourself in life, and whether you've achieved them. Where you haven't achieved them, sorry guys, we have parrots, sorry. Okay, so where you haven't achieved that goal, I'd like you to look at why that hasn't happened. Is it something beyond your control? Because life happens, you're not in control of everything. There are things that happen you can't control. But is it because like we said earlier, you said you want to lose weight, but you didn't actually just start exercising or change your eating habits, things like that. So you need to realize your contribution to the self-sabotaging behavior. The second thing you need to do is understand the emotions that lead to that. So when you're making these excuses and you're behaving in this way which isn't conducive for you and your needs and what you want to achieve or who you want to be, how do you feel when you're telling yourself that? What is the thought process behind you ending up procrastinating or whatever it is? How do you feel in that moment? Do you feel unworthy? Do you feel like you don't deserve it? Do you feel like people like you can't lose weight or can't pass exams or can't whatever it is? What is it? What are the thoughts behind all of this, The next thing is you need to spot the thinking or the belief that causes that emotion. So that goes hand in hand with point number 2. So the emotions that you feel when all of this is happening, right? So once you've established those emotions, you need to now spot the thinking. So that's what I was saying, are you thinking you're not worthy of it? Are you thinking you're not deserving of it? Do you think you're not capable of achieving that? What are the thoughts that go into you self-sabotaging? Once you've established step 1, 2, and 3, then it's a great way to actually be able to do step 4, which is to change your behavior. Okay, so once you've realized that, okay, fine, I set this goal for myself, but then I'm not actually doing anything about it. You're now in a better position. You're now empowered to now turn things around and do things differently. Now you'll be in a position where you can be like, okay, fine. I said I want to do this, but I haven't done it. But this is what I can do now. I can make sure that, I stop buying carbs and I stop eating carbs, or I'm going to subscribe to the gym, or I'm going to get an accountability buddy, or I'm going to download a planning app. So that's going to help me to plan my day, plan my week, plan my month, and be able to achieve my goals, things like that. You can now change your behavior. And remember that obviously change takes time. Things don't happen overnight. But as long as you get that ball rolling, that's the most important thing. Getting started is the first most important step. So change your behavior, observe your patterns, see what you do, and start doing things differently. At first it will be hard, but with time you'll get used to it. And the fifth thing that I need you to remember is that you need to then develop self-supporting behavior. Okay, so basically this is again in line with point number 4 about changing your ways, right? So creating self-supporting behavior is probably, doing things that support the life that you're saying you want, or the things that you're saying you want to achieve. So for example, making an effort to tune into motivational, talks like this one, or listening to motivational podcasts that are going to uplift you and motivate you, and sort of act as a barrier to you getting to that place where you're now thinking negatively about you. Because if you are pouring in positivity and like great affirmations and all these amazing things, you're gonna have bad days. You're human, it's gonna happen. But then also you're in a position where it's, I wouldn't say less likely to happen, but once you do feel yourself slipping into that, you're more equipped or more empowered to make sure that it doesn't get to you self-sabotaging again. So these are the types of self-supporting behaviors I'm talking about. You need to start doing things that support or can enable you to not self-sabotage, So I got a quotation from Pinterest. You already know. But the quotation, I actually love this quotation. I always post this on my Motivation Mondays, at least like once a month, because I think it's so important and people don't realize how important this is. But anyway, the quotation is, get into the habit of asking yourself, does this support the life I'm trying to create? Does it? So I think that's such a good question to ask yourself with anything in life, because if you do ask yourself, like, okay, let's say you said you want to lose weight. I'm sorry, guys, I'm using that because it's the easiest thing. And I mean, everyone's trying to get their lifestyles together. So, So, if you say that, okay, fine, I want to lose weight, right? But then you buy a pizza or you buy cake or whatever. Maybe not like once, because like one slice of cake doesn't make people get fat. But like you keep doing it, right? You need to ask yourself, does this support the weight loss that I'm trying to achieve? Your answer is obviously going to be no. And once that triggers in your mind, and once you realize that, then obviously now it's going to be a thing of like, the next time you want to buy ice cream or cake or whatever, you're going to think twice, because you're going to be like, actually, this is not in line with what I'm trying to do or what I'm trying to achieve. Okay, so you really, really, really need to get into the habit of asking yourself, does this support the life I want to create? If the answer is no, you already know what to do. And that's the thing, I feel like so many times we already know what we're supposed to do, or once we establish it, we don't then go on to do the right thing. So I always say this, but I hope you guys can't hear that. There's a plane flying over the house and it's pretty loud. But what I was saying was that you just need to be someone who's going to have courage. I always say this, and I always ask you guys to do this, to have courage to do right by yourself. Because if you know that the answer to this question is no, then obviously if you have the courage to do right by yourself, then you're not going to now go on and keep doing these things that you know are not supporting the life you want to create. Okay, so you need to have courage to show up for yourself. And how I say this, show up for yourself and love yourself. It really, really boils down to having a lot of self-love. And I think we need to do a video on that actually, because so many things stem from that. Because if you loved yourself, then you wouldn't act in a way that harms you, or you wouldn't act in a way that comes between you achieving your goals, you know? So it's one of those situations where it's like you need to love yourself enough and you need to have the courage to actually do right by yourself, because no one's gonna show up and be like, yeah, Tari, today we're going to the gym because you said this is your goal. I mean, you might have an accountability partner. That helps. But you know what I mean? You know, you need to start showing up for yourself, and you need to stop self-sabotaging. You need to stop self-sabotaging. So I really hope this video helped. I hope that those 5 points that I shared earlier about how to, you know, establish what's going on and sort of do things differently helps. And yeah, if you have any questions, just, you know, put them down below. I always respond to my comments. And yeah, guys, I hope this video is helpful. I hope you stop self-sabotaging. I'm also calling myself out in this video. I'm gonna make sure that I stop doing that. I mean, I don't do it like I used to, but I have my days. But yeah, guys, so yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this video was useful. Of course, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you on Wednesday with a makeup tutorial. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe.